Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dakota and today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, which is probably more gonna be a rant than anything else because toxic spirituality. Oh my god. I feel like every video is just like full of oh my god. As it should be. Toxic spirituality is actually one of the incredibly passionate topics in my heart because I feel like I have encountered so much of it. I could honestly probably make like 20 videos about every story that I had like in relation to toxic spirituality, but today I want to do a little overview, if you will, to kind of grasp the meaning of this, grasp the, totality, just touch it, play with it, gently. I feel like spirituality actually did help a lot of people and is helping a lot of people, and it's been for thousands upon thousands of years, a part of people's like relationships and people's daily life. And there's been many different forms of it, from religions to more like new agey spirituality to all those practices from like India and China and whatever, Asia, repackaged and sold to the West and Europe. And this community of spiritual people has been growing and rising and people have been awakening. I still don't know what does that mean, because it seems like every spiritual community actually has a different definition of what it means to awaken. To someone it's like 5D, to someone else it's just becoming aware of stuff. To someone else it's like transcending your body and leaving, and it's like you go to some other woo-woo land. And it's like it's a lot, and it's so confusing, I guess, as the world is, and all the different philosophies and ideologies and all of that. And well, not surprisingly, a lot of spiritual bypassing was born, or spiritual coping strategies. Basically, spirituality started being used for coping with toxic life rather than changing your toxic life. And I have encountered a lot of people who subtly or not so subtly use all those strategies that spirituality offers to deny and disown and avoid and not look at and minimize whatever they wish, basically, either other people in their lives or their own experiences, or anything else for that matter. But you know what? Oh, I have so much rage about this. What gets me the most is how difficult it is to notice, and how subtle and how nefarious it can be. It's almost like borders on cult programming sometimes, but it's done in like interpersonal relationships. Those strategies, those tactics of manipulation and let's say projection and reflection and deflection, and which is essentially used to not see anything that you don't want to see about yourself. And that is very tricky. And us as spiritual people, those of us who may be more on a beginner path, who are just like kind of opening their hearts and are entering this field with this sense of innocence and the sense of like, oh, I'm gonna be saved, and there's so many people just like me, who are gonna understand and you know, love, and it's all love and light, but that is such a big lie. Such a lie. I have fallen myself into this trap more times than I could possibly count. As many times as it was needed to learn that people are still people, and people are gonna be people in whatever community they are, spiritual or not. Like, there's not gonna be a point. You see, like, there's not gonna be a point at which a person is gonna enter a community and suddenly let go of all their issues. And if they're trying to pretend like they're letting go of their issues, you're gonna notice that. I mean, or not. I guess that's the point. They're gonna pretend for a while, and then it's still gonna come up. They are gonna be like love and light, you know, and I am here for you and everything. There's this level of like trying to pretend to be something you're not with people in spiritual communities. And sooner or later, everything that they're not, you know, is still gonna come out. And it does come out, and it has come out in, like, with me in my personal relationships. And even, you know, even when I tried to do this, like way back at the beginning of my journey, when I, you know, entered these communities, and I was like, oh, I will let go. You know, it's just love and light, and that doesn't exist if I don't want to look at it. And oh my, did I get smacked in the face, right back in my face. A very nice, juicy smack. People bring their traumas and their unsolved and unresolved issues no matter where they go. And they bring them even more if they try to not to bring them, because a certain community only approves of love and light, you see? So, wow. Oh, well said. And it can and is incredibly disappointing when we, you know, we feel like we found this belonging. We feel like we have, you know, found this something, and it still ends up being, you know, those traumas still can come up. Love and light will only get you as far as your awareness of yourself and your own shadows and your own ability to love yourself. And loving yourself, I mean loving that which you hate about yourself. And to love that which you hate about yourself, you need to know that which you hate and why you hate it, and why that is hated hates you and its relationship to you. So, you see, spirituality does not work through disconnection. And it's funny, it's like this old, you know, model of spirituality, let's say religions, whatever, you know, hippie movement, 70s, where it's like the whole concept of it was to try and separate something from something, you know? It's like with Christianity, it's like, okay, devil and angels, gods, God and, you know, Beelzebub, whatever, and demons, and, you know, good versus evil. Same thing with spiritual communities, where it's just like love and light and focus on only what you want to attract in your life. And that is such a huge mistake, because that does not account for like the subconsciousness the subconscious that we have, that we are not aware of, that also is participating. By the way, what spirituality to me is interconnectedness of things. That's probably the best way I could describe it after years upon years of, you know, traveling in all varieties of dimensions. Spirituality is ability to connect everything that exists. and everything that exists is, which is also a point of spirituality. It just is, right? But to know what is, you need to be able to connect things and not separate them, which a lot of spirituality and spiritual practices traditionally have been doing. Just separating one thing from the other. And so like this outlook of separation of, love and light, but love and light is still, love and light is good, and something other than love and light is bad. So it's still good and bad. So it's still no different from other religions. It doesn't matter how it appears. And that is a toxic form of spirituality, which can manifest in communities and does manifest in communities. If you look at what happens in, cults or spiritual communities that become cults, or vice versa, or just simple, communities, it can even, it can manifest in relationships where this ideology, this old ideology of, good and bad is just dressed up through love and light. So we're not gonna, it doesn't matter, or, it's not that important, or you're just projecting, but I'm just love and light. I'm just love and light, but your reality is completely invalid, and, you are, being so this and that because I am so love and light. And I've had that said to me in spiritual circles, bruh. Good God. And in this ideology just being used to like not recognize the other perspective, and thus doing what we've been doing for thousands of years, And it's funny because this exact ideology is what leads to wars. I mean, crusades. All in the name of spirituality, right? It's funny when you look at it, honestly. It seems so simple, and yet we don't get it. It seems simple to me when I explain it to myself, but of course how it registers, it's a different matter. But yeah. So basically, if your spirituality has a feeling of good versus bad, or more important, that is more important, versus, something else that is enemy, is the same old thing. And that can just really come up in a variety of different ways of not wanting to recognize other people's perspectives, or your own different perspectives that other parts of you have, or your other, moods or personalities or whatever, have. So, yeah, thank you everybody for listening. I hope maybe in the future I'll get into more detailed stories. I would love to do that. I would love to just take concrete examples and tell a story and then dissect that story and see what happens. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and stay unique. I love you. Bye.